All right, it is now time to paint with paper. So all my stuff is dry and ready to go. What you're gonna need is you're going to need your landscape picture. You wanna have that nearby for reference. You should be looking back and forth at it quite often, so I'm just gonna put it out of the way over here. You're gonna need your outlined image of whatever landscape you chose. You might need a pair of scissors. You're definitely gonna need a glue stick, and then of course all the materials that you've made for this, all the color pencils, the magazine, and the watercolor. Now, this is not a great system right now. I like to learn from this little show called Home Edit, and it's all about color coding things and putting light colors together, because color coding with rainbow or with color, it's functional, it's a system, and it's beautiful. So it would be really hard for me to paint with paper right now because I have some blues over here, I have some blues over here. So what I'm gonna do is two things at once. I'm gonna make all my little pieces smaller, probably about 2 inches in size, and I'm gonna put like colors together. So that's gonna require some cutting, that can require some tearing. So for instance, on this piece of paper, I could either cut it or I could tear it. It doesn't really matter for this first part. Later on, you're gonna get more specific with cutting and tearing, but whatever is easier for you to work through. So I'm gonna be cutting all of my pieces down to about, I don't know, 2 inches, maybe 1 inch in size. I wouldn't go any smaller than that because you might need some bigger pieces. But this is a good place to start, and then I'm gonna organize them into like colors. And I'm gonna make it really easy for me to see everything too. All right, so I want to do a final check and just make sure that I have everything that I need to create. I have dark blues, I have light blues, I have a lot of turquoises, I have yellows, oranges, some pinks. Some of the pinks are over here too because they're pinky purpley. White. Now yours, remember you're going from your photo, so if you have something that's just mountains and snow and evergreens, then your colors should reflect whatever's in your photo. But since I had a sunset, I have a lot of these colors. I don't have so much green, but that's just how I painted with the watercolor. So now there are two options for how you're going to be painting with the paper. The first option is to do a very geometric looking thing, sort of like when we did the analogous collage, how we went from one color to another color to another color, and it was made with all those little squares and rectangles. That gives you like a very fluid transition, and it kind of looks pixelated in a way. So it's gonna look very like sharp edged because you're just using scissors to cut it. The other way to do this is through using torn edges. At the end of this presentation, there are some examples that I'd like you guys to look through that just kind of show the differences between the torn look and the more cut look. I very much recommend that the size of your pieces be no bigger than like 1 inch size, because even though this is a smaller piece of paper, look at how big 1 inch takes up on here. Like if I put this down on my son, it really wouldn't look right. With that same sense, I wouldn't really make anything much smaller than the size of your pinky because it's gonna be really hard to glue down. You can if you want, it's just my recommendation to do an inch or smaller, but not smaller than like your pinky size. So what I'm gonna do to show you guys the two different effects of how I would go about this, I'm gonna do one half of my paper using torn paper and one half of my paper using cut paper. And what I wanna do is I want to be referencing my photo a lot, and I can take my photo and I can even hold up a picture or hold up a piece of paper, hold up a magazine, and I can see, okay, does this match that area really well? What actually matches what's going on in my picture? I think you guys will really enjoy doing this. This part is the longest part of what you're gonna do, is painting with the paper. So when you are doing this, it's important to like know where you want to go and to kind of fill up that space. Like if I want to go right here, I know that there's a lot of lilacs and pinks in this area. You can glue this whole area first, or you can get another piece of paper, like a messy mat or something like that, and you can turn your piece of paper over and glue it and then put it down. It really depends on how you would like to work. That's pretty much it. You're just gonna see me grabbing a lot of paper and pasting along the way. It builds really slowly. Don't be afraid to overlap things, to cut things small, to change things as you go. It's gonna be an ever-evolving thing. And remember, when you're painting something, you're adding, you're overlapping, you're going over something that you already did. So don't be afraid to change the way that something looks as you go. And just constantly refer to your picture, because you're going to be graded on how close this references your photograph. Good luck. Oh, and one more thing is, before you glue, test out the area first to see how it looks. That's a good suggestion. Okay, so I just made a big mistake, but this is good for me to make it. This whole section is supposed to be yellow right here, and there was just supposed to be a little bit of pink coming in. I did not look at my picture correctly, so you guys are gonna see me fix this. I guess this is how it would be in real life, because here's the edge of the water, and there's supposed to be some pink down here, and there's supposed to be yellow. So I'm just gonna fix my mistakes, because that's what you do as an artist. Luckily with collage, you can just paste right over what you do. Ta-da! Okay, so now I'm going to work on this side, and since I kind of have my organic side going on over here, I have 1/3%. Miss Braun, you're supposed to be good at math art. 1/3, I see magazines, I see colored pencils, I see watercolor. I'm going to continue that on this side, except I'm going to use my scissors to actually cut out very geometric looking shapes. It can be skinny rectangles, it could even be like kind of like trapezoid looking things, but we're going to go away from this very geometric look and we're going to get a very pixelated look on this side, just so you guys can see the difference. The difference is there. All right, so now the time has come to check your work against the photograph that you have as reference. So first of all, I want to talk about the difference. I'll show you guys a little close up between the torn paper and the geometric. So the torn paper looks really organic. It naturally has a white edge, which could be really useful if you have snow-topped mountains or the beachy foam waves that I have down here. But it comes out really a little bit thinner since you're tearing it, so the edges are a little bit easier to go down. On the pixelated side, or the side that I cut, you can see that it almost looks like patchwork, sort of like a quilt type technique is looking here. It shows a little less movement, so it really depends on which style you like more. You can also mix and match too. So again, here's what the geometric side looks like, and here's what the organic side looks like. So, and then what you want to do before you are finally finished and ready to submit, you want to just compare it to your area here. We do not expect you guys to perfectly replicate this. This is a torn or cut paper collage. You're not painting it. We're not going for absolute 100% realism, but a bulk of your grade does have to do with, does it reference your photo? So I have my sun in the middle. Pick some key areas. I have the sun. I have the big shadow right here. I have purple lined clouds on both sides. I have some bluish clouds. I have the blue sky up here. I have the white foam down here. As long as you've replicated the big areas that your photo has into your collage, you're gonna do an amazing job. So the next step after you finish your project is you need to take a picture of this and you need to submit your original reference photo. That way when Mrs. Cantrell and I are grading, we can look at this photo and see, hey, does it match your collaged piece right here? Don't forget about your reflection questions, and please, 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 please go over the rubric and make sure you did it. Make sure that you compared everything that you need to do according to what the rubric says. Great work, guys.